In the middle of the road, a terrified woman runs to a gas station and begs for help. However, the clerk is done for the day and turns off the lights, saying they're closed. Then the woman rushes to the phone booth and calls 911, desperately explaining that both her sons have been taken. She's suddenly interrupted by a bright beam of light that surrounds the booth, making it disappear with her inside. The clerk comes out and finds nothing but the base and some smoke. As he turns around to call the police, the booth falls and crashes on the ground. In the morning, the police come to investigate the scene. While some of the cops call the clerk a liar for the story he's telling, Officer Murphy inspects the remains of the booth and finds the woman's ID, wondering where she is now. Meanwhile in the city, April and her boyfriend Kyle are packing for a weekend trip to a cabin in the woods that belongs to April's family. At the last minute, Kyle announces he's invited 3 friends to come with them without telling her, which makes April a bit angry. Her mood gets better when they get on the road and she finally relaxes. Seth decides to fire a flare for fun, so they end up being pulled over by Murphy. When he hears where they're going, he warns them that there have been unusual disturbances in the area like break-ins and animals being killed, so they should be careful. After letting the group go with just a warning for their behavior, Murphy goes to see the local farmer, who has found a dead pig. He thought that the coyotes did it, but Murphy points out the wound is too exact and clean. It's the same mutilation he's been seeing on all the animals in the area. As soon as the group makes it to the cabin, they start having some fun with alcohol in the pool. After a few hours of fooling around, Mel takes her dog out for a walk and April goes with them. The girls chat while they enjoy the scenery, but suddenly the dog hears something and starts barking as it runs away. The girls follow the barking to an area blocked by a fence with a creepy scarecrow, but they ignore the anti-trespassers signs and cross it anyway. As they look around, they find some tents holding a bunch of Mary Jane plants and Mel gets so excited that she tries stealing some. Soon the dog returns to them only to be followed by the property owner, who threatens them with an axe. The girls try to explain they just were looking for the dog and that they're staying in the cabin. Hearing about the cabin makes the man realize he knows April. His name is Travis and he was a friend of her family, so he met April as a kid. Soon April remembers him too and the girls accept his invitation to the house. They chat for a while and Travis shares some details about the PTSD he's going through since he fought in the war. He also shows them a picture of a mysterious flying object that his motion-activated thermal cameras picked up. He theorizes that it's a secret military aircraft and that the Army has been using the area for testing since the Cold War. Travis is big on conspiracy theories and rants about having to live off the grid to avoid being watched. Eventually the girls need to go back but they make sure to buy some Mary Jane from Travis first. When the girls return to the house, they share the plants and everyone has fun smoking. Suddenly Kyle takes April to another room and says how much she means to him before getting on his knee to propose. However, April answers she can't and reveals that she had gotten a job in New York, she just hadn't found the moment to tell him yet. Hurt, Kyle assumes she's breaking up with him and storms out of the room. Their friends misunderstand and start celebrating, but when they catch on, Mel comforts April. Meanwhile at the police station, Murphy is checking the surveillance footage from the gas station. The phone booth really did disappear under a light, and to Murphy's shock, there appears to be a presence hiding in the glow. Later in the evening, the group gets drunk because they're bored since they don't have TV or cell phone service. Kyle and April try to communicate while everyone watches, but their conversation is interrupted when they see a huge ball of fire coming down in the sky and crashing in the woods with a huge explosion. As Seth films everything with his phone, the group goes to investigate, assuming they saw a plane. However, they're shocked to discover a real spaceship and footprints that indicate aliens are now wandering in the forest. Terrified, the group rushes back to the cabin and argues over what to do while it starts raining. Seth points out the police won't believe them if they call, and April says they should just drive back to the city. Suddenly the power goes out, but April says it's normal because of the storm. They go to the basement to check the breakers, and at that moment they hear the dog barking followed by strange noises. Remembering her father kept a gun in that basement, April quickly grabs it before the group goes back upstairs. The cabin is completely dark, so the group uses flashlights to look around the room, finding a bunch of broken things. When a lightning strike lights up the area, the group discovers an alien standing by the glass door. April immediately opens fire and the alien disappears as the glass shatters. The group rushes outside and notices that the alien has fallen into the pool, so its body is slowly sinking. Freaking out, everyone finally agrees to leave and rush to the car to get away. After just a few minutes of driving, they discover a fallen tree blocking the only road to the city. When they take a closer look, they discover the cut is too clean, so it wasn't the lightning that did it. The rain suddenly stops falling, but when they look back, they discover it's only raining in certain parts of the road. At that moment a red light covers the area and the group looks up to discover an alien spaceship hovering above them. Everyone rushes back to the car, however the spaceship fries all the electronics and now the vehicle won't start. Panicking, Lex gets out of the car, so the aliens use the chance to use their light and kidnap her. Hysteria takes over the group and they start running to the forest. Meanwhile Murphy continues to investigate and finds a camper van in the woods surrounded by a mess. Nobody answers his knocking, so he goes inside and finds a camcorder on the ground, which he picks up to watch the last footage. A family is out camping when they suddenly see a light in the sky. The child runs off to get a better look, only to be beamed up and kidnapped by the aliens. Once the video is over, Murphy looks deeper in the vehicle and sees blood in the bathroom. Then the mother from the video comes out of hiding to attack him. He manages to calm her down and the woman explains the aliens abducted her husband and son, claiming that they conduct experiments to learn everything about humans. Murphy calls an ambulance and before the doctors take her away, the woman urges Murphy to assist the people who are trapped in the spaceship. The aliens bring most people back but there are still hundreds up there, some have even been there for years. Back to April's group, they reach Travis' place and have to calm the guy down as he attacks them for mistaking them for trespassers. They tell him everything and show him Seth's video. Travis then explains that the US government has had a treaty with the extraterrestrials since Roosevelt's term. This treaty states that aliens are allowed to abduct humans for experiments and in return humans can keep on acting as if they own the planet. There's only one very important rule: nobody should attempt to engage with the aliens, which April broke by shooting one of them. At that moment Mel notices something on the radar and Travis confirms that it's the spaceship, which quickly disappears from the screen. Travis says that means it landed. Suddenly the lights go out so everyone starts running except for Travis, who tells them how to get back to their cabin while he stays to fight. He finds a hole in one of his tents and as soon as he hears the alien moving in the darkness, he opens fire. There's no alien body around, so next Travis hides under a table and looks around with his flashlight. When he sees the alien jump above him, he opens fire again and hears the creature's body fall before some nasty alien goo falls on his face. Thinking it's over, Travis comes out of hiding, only for another alien to grab him. In the meantime April's group makes it to the cabin and a strange noise can be heard outside and April peeks through the peephole only to find an alien standing at their doorstep at the same time that very bright lights shine through the windows. Seth panics and opens fire, almost hitting Murphy and his partner Mitchell when they suddenly burst in. The cops immediately handcuff Seth and interrogate the group, not believing their story when they smell the Mary Jane in the room. To prove it, April takes them to the pool, only to discover the body is gone. Suddenly another noise could be heard in the barn. Murphy goes inside to investigate and after finding some goo, he's horrified to see Mel's dog dead with the organs out. At that moment an alien runs past him and jumps out the window, so Murphy tries firing but misses all the shots. The alien can be heard running through the bushes, but instead of chasing after it Murphy returns to the police car and informs Mitchell that the friends are telling the truth. Mitchell starts laughing and tells Murphy that he needs to move on, saying that his girlfriend just left him for another dude. However Murphy is sure she was abducted because she just disappeared from the bed overnight and didn't take her keys or clothes. Then the cops get ready to leave with an arrested Seth, but at that moment an alien appears in the middle of the road. Murphy freezes as he stares at the bright light, not hearing Mitchell and Seth yelling at him to go. The alien moves its hand and suddenly Murphy grabs his gun to shoot Mitchell and then self-delete. After the alien disappeared, April comes out to free Seth and take him back to the cabin. He explains that the alien mind-controlled Murphy and freaks out to the point of using a police gun to hit Kyle. Seth blames April for what's happening and decides to escape alone, running out of the cabin while insulting the others. Seconds later, the whole building starts shaking and bright lights indicate the arrival of the spaceship. Then the aliens play a high-frequency sound wave that paralyzes everyone and causes excruciating pain. The light bulbs and various appliances explode, causing a small fire. The whole house appears to be coming down. So Mel and April rush to the basement but Kyle stays behind and blocks the door with a bookcase to protect the girls. An alien appears at the entrance and Kyle yells at it, taunting the creature into chasing him as he runs upstairs. Meanwhile Seth runs through the forest until his flashlight runs out of battery. As he lights a glow stick, he hears a weird noise and begins shooting in random directions. At that moment the aliens show up and attack him, leaving him severely wounded. Seth manages to crawl away and handcuffs his arm to the tree, but this isn't enough and the light takes him anyway, leaving his arm behind. In the cabin, Kyle waits with a knife in the bathroom, but an alien reaches through the mirror and kidnaps him anyway. At the same time in the basement, an empty medicine bottle falls from Mel's pocket and she admits she's self-deleting because it's better than being abducted by aliens. After Mel dies in her arms, April grabs a crowbar and gets ready to go back, but she pauses when the lights and rumbling go away. Astonished, April drops the crowbar and slowly makes her way upstairs, where she discovers the power has returned. On a pool of blood on the floor, she finds Kyle's engagement ring, making her realize he was taken. A desperate April runs outside and sees the spaceship flying away, so she grabs some fireworks and starts firing them into the sky to get the attention of the aliens. At first nothing happens and April falls to her knees, thinking she lost Kyle forever. However, the spaceship then comes back and abducts her as well. Moments later, April wakes up and finds herself in a nasty cocoon. After some struggle, she breaks free and starts walking down a hallway, seeing other bodies on the way. Following a very bright light, she reaches the end of the corridor and discovers she's been brought to an alien city. In another room, Seth also wakes up and panics when he sees his arm is gone. Suddenly an alien machine begins conducting various painful experiments on him, like inserting a bug through his belly button, drawing on his skin with lasers, and inserting a probe up his rear. It eventually becomes too much and Seth dies. Back to April, she continues to wander through the corridors and looks at the bodies in the cocoons until she finds Kyle. She immediately frees him and gives him CPR as she apologizes for everything. Kyle wakes up and the couple shares a hug before the aliens find them. A light surrounds Kyle and April and they hold onto each other thinking they'll die, only to suddenly appear back in the forest. They celebrate with a kiss and leave while holding hands, hoping to find help. A noise indicates people nearby and the couple finds some soldiers, who open fire and bring them both down. With her last breath, April takes out the ring and Kyle puts it on her finger before the soldiers kill them with another shot. Afterward the bodies are thrown in a hole and burned down. The soldiers continue to clean the area, getting rid of any evidence that could prove the existence of aliens or the treat the government has with them.